This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
And welcome to another episode of the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast on the Huddle Sports Network. I'm Taylor Phillips, flying solo. Ed Smith has the week off for an undisclosed reason, but keep him in your prayers, everyone, please. Let's get right to it. We're not going to talk about college football for the rest of the season. So the Lions beat the Green Bay Packers 24-14 at Lambeau Field. That's 3 straight wins at Lambeau Field for the Lions. First time since the late 80s, I think 1988 or something like that. But the Lions, it was raining in Lambeau Field, but the Lions handled the ball better than the Packers handled the ball in wet conditions. The Lions receivers kept catching passes from Jared Goff. Packers kept dropping passes from Jordan Love. And then before halftime, Jordan Love was forced by the Lions pass rush to throw a pick six to Kirby Joseph. Amon-Ra St. Brown with a touchdown catch. Jahmyr Gibbs on 4th and 1 with like 9:32 left to play in the third quarter on 4th and 1 from the 20.5-yard line. Nobody could stop Jahmyr Gibbs. The Lions pass rush and secondary both did an excellent job. So did their offense. Almost solid was their offense. They did a decent job. They scored enough points, 24. Defense held the Packers to 14 points total. 3 of them, mostly in the game, they held the Packers to just 3 through the first 3 quarters of the football game. Held the Packers to under 10 points somehow. Just the Lions have such a dangerous defense, as even more dangerous as opposed to last season. So Brian Branch was ejected. He was nailed for a targeting penalty. That's a personal foul. They gave the Packers 15 yards and a first down. Then Brian Branch flipped off the fans and was nailed for unsportsmanlike conduct. And for that, he got ejected. So he wasn't ejected for the targeting penalty. He was ejected for flipping off the fans, and he apologized, and he was fined later on over $20,000 for it. He's not going to be suspended. So Brian Branch apologized. He learned his lesson. Let's move on from that. The Lions are 7-1 for the first time since 1956. All right, so the Lions get back Jameson Williams. He served a 2-game suspension for violating the NFL's performance-enhancing substance policy. He avoided arrest when carrying a handgun. He wasn't trying to commit any crimes of any sort. Apparently, he was just trying to carry a handgun for his protection, but just please be more careful, Brian. Jameson Williams, JMO. So the Lions are going to get him back. And then wide receiver Isaiah Williams, who was claimed by the Cincinnati Bengals. But let's get to more of that later on. But the Lions have acquired defensive end Za'Darius Smith and a 2026 7th-round draft pick from the Cleveland Browns in exchange for a 2025 5th-round pick and a 7th-round pick in 2025, according to Adam Schefter of ESPN. That's a major signing at defensive end to substitute for Aiden Hutchinson. I know Aiden Hutchinson could be back for the Super Bowl if the Lions make it, but Za'Darius Smith, that's a big, major signing, a big tool for the Lions pass rush. Za'Darius Smith is a beast. And they're going to need him for the Sunday Night Football game on NBC at Reliant Stadium Sunday at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, when the Lions travel to Houston to play the Houston Texans. Now, the Lions signed 3 players from their practice squad to their active roster. Tight end Shane Silstra, edge rusher Al Quaiden Muhammad, and linebacker Abraham Beauplan. They've also elevated from the practice squad offensive tackle Jamarco Jones and linebacker Ezekiel Turner. So all those guys will have to try to step up. Because Taylor Decker, Broderick Martin, Jalen Reeves, Maben, Ifatu Melifano, and Malcolm Rodriguez are all out due to injury. Za'Darius Smith is questionable to play, questionable to start on defense due to personal reasons, but so he's not injured. So Za'Darius Smith could still play, maybe even, dare I say, start against the Houston Texans. Josh Paschal is back in the Lions lineup. Sion Vaki and Meki Wingo also at full practice. They're not ruled out. They could be a game-time decision that they could play. On the Houston Texans side, wide receiver Nico Collins was reactivated from the injured reserve with his hamstring injury. The Texans are trying to be cautious with him. Stephon Diggs is out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL. Tank Della is a second target at wide receiver. If he has to be the lone go-to wide receiver with Nico, and since if the Texans rule Nico Collins out via game time decision, then Tank Dell would be the lone wideout to start at wide receiver. The Texans are still having problems with their offensive line. Quarterback C.J. Stroud was the offensive player of the year last year. The offensive rookie of the year a few years ago, was sacked a career high 8 times last season. Has been sacked a career 8 times by the New York Giants. Let me read that again. My apologies. Last week against the New York Jets, not the Giants, 8 times. Stroud allowed 8 sacks in a single game against the New York Jets. Unbelievable. The Lions are going to have to take advantage of that. Their pass rush. They sure as hell could use Za'Darius Smith in Aiden Hutchinson's absence, especially to help with the pass rush. because the Texans' offensive line, it looks very, very depleted. And if the Lions do that, I would predict the Lions, and considering Jameson Williams returning, the Houston Texans could have some big problems with their offense. I would say the Lions get it done. Let's go Lions 30 and the Houston Texans 17. That's a bold prediction. I know it's on the road in a hostile environment, but the Lions have played very well. Tank Dell was the only consistent weapon, totaling 6 catches for 126 yards last week. John Mechie III, Cade Stover from Ohio State, and Xavier Hutchinson didn't even make any catches on 11 targets. So kickoff is scheduled for 8:10. $8:15 rather. So the Red Wings, they edged the Buffalo Sabres 2-1. They beat the Chicago Blackhawks 4-2. They go to Toronto and lose to the Maple Leafs 3-1 at Scotiabank Arena. They return home to get blanked by the New York Rangers 4-0. Just again, the Red Wings win 2 straight. They lose 2 straight. So let me look at the standings right now before I get to the shocking statistic. The Red Wings are in 7th place in the Atlantic Division, 6-7-1 with 13 points. That does not look good. Just 3 points ahead of the last place Montreal Canadiens at 4-9 who are 4-9-2 with 10 points. Now here's the shocking statistic. Dylan Larkin has a -3 thus far this season. His career plus minus is -90. That's just very ugly. A very ugly -90. Dylan Larkin is good at scoring goals, but he and his line just keep giving up way too many goals as opposed to scoring them. So the Red Wings are going to have to start keeping more pucks out of their own net. No matter how hard or easy it is, it's part of their job. And I can't pin that all on Dylan Larkin solely. It's the entire team that's letting him down. And it starts at the top of their head coach, Derek Lalonde. He's not lighting enough of a fire under his team. And I just don't see the Red Wings making the playoffs. I really don't. The Red Wings are off until Wednesday at 7:30 on TNT when they travel to PPG Paints Arena to face off with the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins crushed the Red Wings 6-3 in the Red Wings season opener at Little Caesars Arena last month. The Pistons got scorched by the Knicks at home 128-98 2 Friday nights ago. They beat the Brooklyn Nets 105-95. They lost to the Charlotte Hornets. Oh, shit. Hang on a second. 108-107. There we go. And then they beat the Los Angeles Lakers 115-103. And then they beat the Atlanta Hawks 122-121. Cade Cunningham has been amazing in offensive production. Got a triple-double. Cade Cunningham, 22 points, 11 rebounds, 13 assists, but 7 turnovers, a +3. 1 block, 1 steal, 5 for 5 from the free throw line, 1 of 4 from 3-point range, 8 of 17 from the entire court, including 2-point shots, 2-point jump shots, 2-point field goals. So Cade Cunningham, again, can really score and produce and facilitate on offense, but sometimes he has trouble taking care of the basketball. You got to be more mindful in taking care of the rock. So Pistons, they're 4-6. They're in they lead a 4-way tie for 6th place in the Eastern Conference standings with the Chicago Bulls, the Orlando Magic, and then the Brooklyn Nets. Bulls are 7th, Magic 8th, Nets at 9th. Pistons are 6th place. Early on, the Pistons are in the playoff picture, 4-6, just 2 games under 500. Last season, the Pistons didn't win their 4th straight until January 15th of this calendar year. This season, the Pistons picked up their 4th win overall on November 8th of this year. 4-6, way better than 2-29. That is significant progress by the Pistons. So the Pistons have made more significant progress than the Red Wings. Pistons are home against the Houston Rockets Sunday at 3, home against the Miami Heat Tuesday at 7, and then they travel to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks at 8, all games on FanDuel Sports Network, Detroit. So what do we learn? The Lions are 7-1. They've made history. They're still dangerous out there. And on paper, they're picked to go to the Super Bowl and take on the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 59, at least in our eyes. The Red Wings, they're just not making any progress whatsoever. The Pistons are making more significant progress than the Red Wings. So that's what we've learned in this episode of the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast. I'm Taylor Phillips. Follow the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast on X, Instagram, and TikTok at Michigan_Truth, and like its Facebook page. Subscribe to its YouTube channel at the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast. Like our videos and turn on all notifications on the bell icon. Watch our episodes in full to help improve its public watch hours, and follow it and listen to it in audio form on Spreaker. Also join its supporters club. Business endorsements go to Athletico Physical Therapy on Woodward in Ferndale, the B4 Foundation in Ithaca, Best Buy with Geek Squad in Traverse City. Cali Tickets, call 877-225-8425 or visit CaliTickets.com. Creative Embroidery in Cadillac for designing the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast logo on my long sleeve shirt and t-shirt. Cuts by Melanie in Lake City, Family Healthcare Dental Center in Cadillac, Hooters in Saginaw. It's a Denise Jewelry in Lake City, Northern Auto Lab in Lake City, Pro Quality Cleaners in Cadillac, the Raven Social Restaurant on South Mitchell Street in downtown Cadillac, Union Barber in Birmingham and Ferndale, United Food Service Solutions of Grand Ledge, Michigan, United Mobile Power Wash and Dry Ice Works in Southfield, and Well-Being with Catherine Palms. The Michigan Sports Truth Podcast is a presentation of the Huddle Sports Network. On behalf of Ed Smith, I'm Taylor Phillips. We'll be back. We'll try to be back this Thursday, if not, and then later on. Until then, this is Taylor Phillips signing off. But remember, we always observe and detect the truth about Michigan sports because the truth is out there. Stay on the lookout. Hit them with a hind.